Morning, everybody. It is January 18th, Tuesday. A reminder that tomorrow is our Clubhouse live stream. So all of you members of the Clubhouse that can make it, I really look forward to seeing you. I always say that's one of my very favorite times, or the twice times of the month, because we do this twice a month. But it's so great to catch up with everybody and see what everybody's been up to, and it's a unique hang. I'll say that for sure. It's a unique community that's come out of this, and so I look forward to that. Getting ready now to head over to Steve Postel's house with Russ Kunkel to do 3 tracks for a Japanese project, and that's going to be fun just to be playing together again. It's just bass and drums that we're doing on some pre-production that they've arranged. And then this afternoon, Danny and Waddy are coming over, and we're going to have a band meeting and set up some schedule to finish recording that we've been doing for a new album, and actually 2 albums, but that's another story. I'll explain that at another time. Let's see. So today I've got a whole bunch of notes here. Let me get these off so I can read. There we go. It's early. I was thinking about different people that I've talked about on here, and one project that I had not yet addressed that was really a big. This guy was a huge part of my life on a number of levels, but certainly musically, and that's the great Craig Doerge. Now, Craig was the keyboard player in The Section, and but I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm going to read a little bio thing here, and then I'll explain where this is going. It says, Craig was born in Cleveland, Ohio. I think actually Shaker Heights. Doerge, which rhymes with Fergie, they put on there because nobody can ever pronounce his name. I always thought it would have been great rather than The Section. We could have called the band Korczmar, Kunkel, Doerge, and Sklar. We would have sounded like a Polish law firm or something. I mean, it's like one of those. Nobody had Smith or Brown in their name. It was Korczmar, Kunkel, Doerge, and Sklar. So Craig Doerge had an R&B band through college in Hartford, Connecticut, and then moved to Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles in the late 60s to work as a studio player and songwriter with A&M Records and with Jim Keltner, Larry Carlton, and others playing on early Kenny Rogers First Edition tracks. The Challengers and cartoon shows, Groovy Ghoulies, Fat Albert. After appearing on the Frank Zappa production, the GTO's album, Permanent Damage, he teamed with Judy Henske, Jerry Esther, and John Sider in the band Rosebud, eventually marrying Henske in 1973. From the early 70s, he appeared on many sessions. Initially, these included albums by Lee Hazelwood, Linda Ronstadt, let's see, and he also recorded a solo album for Columbia Records in 73. That's the thing I'm going to address today, is the album we did for Columbia. Aside from a principal role as keyboardist in the recordings of Crosby, Stills, Nash, James Taylor, Jackson Browne, he played on early albums by Gene Clark, Carly Simon, The Temptations, Sean Phillips, Donovan, Mimi Farina, Tom Jans, Willie Nelson, Barbra Streisand, and Johnny Halliday, just to name a few. Also on the album with Tom Jans and Mimi Farina, that was the first time I recorded with Craig and met him. And we were at that point with James Taylor's band looking for a new keyboard player because Carole King was our keyboard player in the band, and she had just recorded Tapestry. And needless to say, it's very hard to have a member of the band be a side person when they have like the biggest record in the world. So Carole was going to be moving on and pursuing her solo career at that point, and we needed a keyboard player. And I contacted Peter Asher at that point, and I said, I worked with a great guy today doing this Tom Jans and Mimi Farina album, and introduced him to Craig. Now, Mimi Farina was Joan Baez's younger sister. So this stuff, and then I worked on their stuff and then did Tom Jans's solo stuff. He was a founding member of The Section, a session supergroup with Danny Korchmar, Leland Sklar, Russ Kunkel, which recorded 3 mostly instrumental LPs in the mid-'70s. The band continued through the '80s in recordings as a touring backup band for Crosby, Stills, Nash, James Taylor, Jackson Browne, amongst others. Doerge has also collaborated as a songwriter with Jackson Browne, David Crosby, Graham Nash, Paul Williams, and others. He's worked on movie soundtracks. He won a Grammy Award for his participation as co-writer with Paul Williams and their song Life Goes On, sung in Lena Horne's Tony Award-winning Broadway show Lena. He was nominated for a Grammy in the blues category for the song World in Motion, co-written with Jackson Browne and performed by pop staples. In recent years, he's written music for, produced, and 2 albums with his wife and lyricist Judy Henske. Now, Craig was married. I mean, it's Craig and Judy Doerge, but Judy was a powerhouse in the folk era of the Phil Oaks and all the people of that milieu. Judy Henske, there's a great reverence towards her as a writer during this period and entertainer, performer. She's quite a presence on stage. Yellow Beach Umbrella, the lead track on Doerge's '73 debut album, co-written with Henske, was recorded in 1976 by Three Dog Night on their American Pastime LP, by Andy Williams on his Andy LP, by Bette Midler on her '77 Broken Blossom LP, as well as Libby Titus and Perry Como. So Craig, and Craig is just like a ridiculously great pianist, one of the best I've worked with. And so he got a record deal. Now I'll get back to my copious notes and get rid of this page here. It was a self-titled album in 1973, Craig Doerge. It was produced by Larry Marks, engineered by Robert A. Pear, who went on to do our Section albums and lots of other things. I worked with Robert on a tremendous amount of records at his studio, Clover Studios in Hollywood. And the strings on this album were arranged and conducted by the great Peter Matz, who did the Carol Burnett show. And I think I ended up, through this, doing a couple of episodes of the Carol Burnett show, sitting in on bass on those. The first song I'm going to play right now is called, all these songs were written by Judy Henske. And the thing with Craig was, Clive Davis loved this project. And this was like one of his things, like this was going to be his next big artist to work with. And then there was a huge turmoil at CBS. I guess it was CBS. Excuse me. Let me see if they've got more information on here. Sorry about that. I'm just want to double check. But there was this, or it was Columbia, or one of the big labels that Craig was signed to. And by the time we were finishing this album, Clive had been removed. And the new regime at the label, I think it was Columbia, didn't care. They wanted, they only wanted their own people, their own artists. So they kind of just shelved all of the projects that Clive was involved with. And that was, unfortunately, Craig's was one of those projects. It's been tucked away for years. It's still available in Japan. The Japanese are the most remarkably loyal audience there is. And when we go over to Japan and work, I can go into Virgin or Tower, any of the big, because they still have huge record stores over there. I go in and I can find Section albums on CDs, but they're still there. Here you find them on eBay or at a garage sale. So it's a different scene altogether over there, and I am always appreciative of what the loyalty that they express towards artists. So here's a song called Reno, written by Judy, and it's myself, Russ Kunkel on drums, Danny Korchmar on guitar, Mike Utley on organ. Now, Mike Utley I've talked about him many times. He's Jimmy Buffett's musical director, but in all of the early Rita Coolidge and Chris Christopherson projects and all that, Mike Utley was deeply involved in all that. And the background vocalists on this are William Smith, Abigail Hannis, Patrice Holloway, and Charles Higgins Jr. Abigail Hannis at the time was married to Danny Korchmar, and she was the lead singer in Joe Mama, and she was in the original cast of Hair. A kick-ass, fantastic singer, and she's still around too, so thank goodness. So here we go. Let me just get started here. This is Reno. Oops, hold on. Let me get that little Bluetooth going. I had to go get the dogs, and everything times out. We walk away from this for a little bit. Here we go. It's Craig.
Closer to the bone, they say the taste of meat is sweeter. Do you see it shine? It's my 45 repeater. Reno, Reno, nothing like home. Reno, Reno, here he comes, here he comes. Set your flesh a-tingling. Oh, 100 minutes walk out without whispers a jingling. Reno, Reno, silver and gold. Reno, Reno, here he comes. Ride.
almost feels like a track that could have been on Gene Clark's No Other album. It has that kind of a moody vibe to it. On all these tracks, I'm using my old Peace Love bass. This is just prior to the building of Frankenstein. So this is my 62 jazz bass that I carved all up and just totally messed up. But it's the bass I used on Doctor My Eyes and Spectrum, and everything I did up to 74 was on that bass, and this is 73. So here's a song called Red Hot Music. And this is, again, penned by Judy Henske. And it's myself and Russ Kunkel. Jim Keltner also on drums. They did double drums on this one. David Spinoza, the great David Spinoza, on guitar. Craig is playing piano and synths, and the background vocals on this is Abigail Hannes, William Smith, and Patrice Holloway. So here we are, Red Hot Music. Let's start at the downbeat. You know, if you really want to hear what Craig's chops in writing are, also if you can find them, check out the 3-section albums. His playing is absolutely ferocious on Piano Roads, Mini Moog, Oberheim, everything. I mean, it's just like, guy's such a strong player. It's just ridiculous. Couple more here. It's the whole album's really got great songs on it, though. There's even one wonderful track on here that Ray Brown plays upright on. That's killer. This is a song called Magic Sam. Again, Judy Henske, and it's myself, Russ Kunkel, Jim Keltner, Spinoza, and Larry Carlton on this one. Not a bad lineup.
You say LA's a miracle town. You're raising hell when the sun goes down. Raise up wind, raise up rain. Raise me a dead man back again. Can you roll a future? Can you roll a past? Can you roll with all that is gonna last? Roll the bones, magic sand. Tell me, who do you think I am? B.I.D., B.I.D. Roll those bones to make your bread. Can you roll the future? Bet you can't roll the past. Can you roll with all that's gonna last? Read the stars, crooked heart, while earth just falls apart. Can I read the land, read the sea, read what the doctor says to me? Can you roll the future? Can you roll the past? Can you roll with all that's gonna last? Can you roll the future? Can you roll the past? Can you roll with all that's gonna last? Can you roll the future? Can you roll the past? Can you roll the future? Bet you can't roll the past. Can you roll the future? Can you roll the past? Can you roll with all that is gonna last?
Just good stuff. Really fun. It was really a shame that this purge took place at the label just before this got released, and it got lost in the shuffle. But that's the nature of this business. Boy, you just never know. You could have the greatest stuff in the world, and all it takes is one person. I've been involved in so many projects where one person came in and put the kibosh, as they say, on a project, and it just went away, and you're going, what the hell happened to that? It was so good. You just don't know. Okay, I'm going to close this one out with song Yellow Beach Umbrella. Now, this is the one that everybody from Three Dog Night to Perry Como had cut, and this, I think, was a huge hit for Johnny Hallyday in France, too. And again, it's one of Judy Henske's songs. And it's myself, Russ, on drums, Craig on keyboards, David Spinoza on guitar. And then again, all the string arrangements and everything was arranged and conducted by Peter Matz, who did the music. One of the things he did was the Carol Burnett Show. So here's Yellow Beach Umbrella.
When I am a flyer, I'll fly down to Miami. Get a room in one of those big resort hotels. And nobody there will ever get to know me well. Nobody there will ever get to know me well. I'll be just another yellow beach umbrella on the shore of the southern sea. I will be a mystery to everyone. I won't take you along with me. When I am a driver, I'll drive to Pensacola. will bring sunshine or rain. And nobody there will ever get to know my name. Nobody there will ever get to know my name. I'll be just another yellow beach umbrella on the shore of the southern sea. I will be a mystery to everyone. I won't take you along with me. When I am a rider, I'll ride on to Tampico. No telephone, honey, or money be wasted on a telegram. 'Cause nobody there will ever find out who I am. Nobody there will ever find out who I am. I'll be just another yellow beach umbrella on the shore of the southern sea. I will be a mystery to everyone. I won't take you. I won't take you along with me, along with
So that is Craig Doerge. Doerge, D-O-E-R-G-E. People are always going, oh, Craig Doerge. No, it's Doerge. And that is his self-titled album from 1973 on CBS. So I'm going to get running here. It's fun here. I'll tell you, just listening to Yellow Beach, there were so few drummers that would actually just sit and pull out brushes to do tracking. And Russ really kind of defined that when you listen to the early stuff with James Taylor and stuff, when he would do brush work. He would make brushes as powerful as sticks rather than, he really defined a different style of playing. And it's thrilling to me that I look back to these things we did back in 70, 71 during that period. And here I am off to the work today with Russ. And that we still just love playing together. It's still magic every time we get to play. So I'm going to take care of that. There was one little thing that I've noticed. There's a video up of this jam that we did with Joe Walsh. And it's Joe Walsh and Russ and Ringo and Ben Montench and Waddy and myself. Now, people keep commenting going, how come Ringo always uses like two drummers on it? Well, the thing is, when we did that, we were in the studio cutting new tracks with Joe for him, for an album. And it was Russ and Ben Mont and Waddy and me and Joe. And we cut two tracks, but we were also doing music for the fundraiser that he does for Vet Aid, for veterans. And it, as it is, if you don't know that, Ringo Starr is Joe Walsh's brother-in-law. And so Ringo came down and we filmed and did a jam for them to use in the fundraising. So it wasn't Ringo's call to come and it wasn't his project, and he's going, look, I'm going to call in another drummer. He was actually the other drummer called in to be a part of it. And it was fantastic. I mean, to be sitting there and looking a few feet away from me where I was an usher at the Hollywood Bowl when the Beatles played there, and to be sitting, like 8 feet away from Ringo and looking at each other and smiling and having a ball together was great. And Russ was just beyond himself. He loves Ringo so much. I mean, what's not to love? But it wasn't Ringo's call. Ringo was invited to come and sit in with us, not the other way around. So people understand that and not keep posting, why does Ringo always have two drums? I mean, he could have played, God knows he's a strong enough drummer where he would have played it. Anybody that denies his ability, he may not be Billy Cobham or Vinnie Colaiuta or any of these guys, but he doesn't have to be. He's Ringo. His pocket was deep and solid in the same way when I recorded with Charlie Watts. And it was like, this is as good as it gets for me. The pocket was deep and solid. That's all you want out of it and creative. Okay, so I'm going to get ready. I've got a few things to do before I head off to work. And again, I'm going to implore you, get your goddamn vaccinations already. The hospitals are, this strain isn't as virulent as previous strains, but that doesn't mean the hospitals aren't overwhelmed with this. And the only way our healthcare system is going to survive this is if people don't get sick and have to be hospitalized. You don't have to go to the hospital if you've been vaccinated and you get COVID. I can testify, I ended up getting COVID, and all it was a cough for a couple of days and done. And didn't feel anything from it, had no side effects from the 2 shots and the booster. And there's so much nonsense going on about this, but I mean, I can talk firsthand. But I have friends that are nurses and doctors that just, they're so overwhelmed in this system. And the thing that breaks their heart is that there's so many people in the hospital that don't have to be there if they would have taken care of themselves and not sat listening to really terrible misinformation about things. So that's it. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm really glad to have grabbed Craig in this because he's a big part of my musical journey, and I wanted you to hear him as a soloist. So take good care, and I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget Clubhouse tomorrow afternoon. I will see you there. Bye-bye.